Hey guys, this is FPL Tips and welcome back to a pre-deadline stream technically. Um, Hi Varun, hi FPL Penguin, hi Rohan. Yes, should be all clear. Should I get DCL on? Yeah, probably looks like DCL has a couple of good fixtures. Apart from the United until game week, 25, he has decent fixtures and the Leicester one as well. So if you are probably replacing Vardy, I think DCL is a decent option. My transfers are due. I will discuss them before we take up questions. So I am planning a definite move from a Kevin De Bruyne to Son. I think I need to get Son into my team now that I've been without him for a really long time. Um, the reason I'm getting Son is Son has accumulated about two big chances for the last four game weeks. Also, Tottenham are second for big chances created in the last four game weeks in all teams. They've created 12 big chances, just behind City, I think. So it isn't a bad move even with the bad fixtures. I think it will give me decent cover with the fixtures also, and also with the overall rank in perspective now. The second move I have planned is I might remove Robertson for Cancelo. It is a long term move, and I'll explain why. Because once I remove Robertson for Cancelo, I think under Tuchel, James and Chilwell should be starting more often, and they should be getting more game time, and also the freedom to stick to the wings and put in a lot of crosses or at least driven balls. So I want James with the good fixtures into my team. With this move, I have about 4.6 million left in the bank. Now that allows me not only to upgrade Berg to someone like a Gundogan, but also allows me to upgrade someone like an Adams to DCL and give me a midfield of 5, attacking 3, and a back 4 as well. So it gives me a lot of option. With the money in hand, I can also make a bench boost team out of this without using wildcard. So I think removing Robertson at this stage of the game is the good move or perfect move for my team. It gives me a lot of options going into game week 26. So those will be my two transfers unless and until I decide that I want to damage control with Son and Robertson both in my team and then remove James for Cancelo. Kufal, Suchek, Rafinha or target who to start. I would start Kufal and Rafinha over Kufal as well. So Rafinha, Kufal, Suchek and target in that order. Would you captain Foden? I would not personally captain Foden only because I don't know if he's going to start. I think the most hard player to predict in the Pep roulette is Foden. I mean, there are a lot of players who can play in that position. There's Torres, there's Sterling, there's Bernardo Silva. So there's no guarantee place for him. The other players are likely more to start than him. So I wouldn't captain him. It's a risk you want to take. You can. I wouldn't. Definitely not on Foden. Son as a differential captain does make sense with the Liverpool form away from home, as Bucker said that he's conceded about 2.13 big chances per match, and at home they're conceding 1.5. So it's not a bad game for Son, but I think solely having him in your team and captaining Bruno for going safe would be great because I think a lot of managers will be captaining Bruno Fernandes this week. Should I use my wildcard to change this team? I don't see a very big problem in that team. Apart from Kevin De Bruyne, I think the team is very manageable and good. So probably save a wildcard for the bench boost chip. El Ghazi to Gundogan for a -4. I think for everyone who's deliberating for a -4 this week, it could be a good week to take a -4 and change your team shuffle a bit, especially for the people who are aiming for a wildcard plus bench boost in game 25 and 26. So there are 4 to 5 game weeks where you can actually shuffle around with your team. Most people have a 100-point score last week as well. So you can utilize the -4. A lot of managers will be taking a hit this week as well. You can utilize that and then you can shuffle around with the team for the next 4 or 5 game weeks. So I would do that personally. Even for Suchek, El Ghazi, I think for Gundogan for a -4, I would do that. Madhav, my overall points are about 1-1, 4-8 or 5-0. That's exactly if I remember. Kyle Walker Peters will miss out on this game week. Thank you, Ashish, for 1K subs that we crossed last week. Okay. Hold Kyle Walker Peter or sell. If sell for who? I think if you can sell it for someone like a Justin or Luke Shaw, especially Luke Shaw, I would do that. On a free transfer, yes. For a hit, I'm not sure. If you have a decent bench, you don't need to sell him this week because we don't know the extent of his injury. -8 to remove Kevin De Bruyne is too much. I mean, if you have already a decent bench with the -4, I think you can just keep him this week and then see who is playing attacking wise great in the City attack. I personally am not going Gundogan this week. I also had a very big thought about it. Should I go Gundogan or Cancelo? The only reason I'm not going Gundogan is that I don't know how the City attack will deploy without Kevin De Bruyne one, and I don't know which player will take which position. So if a lot of dynamic changes without Kevin De Bruyne, I might just hold on to my transfer. And after watching them against West Brom, I can still make a decision whether I want Foden, Bernardo Silva, or Gundogan. Could Bamford haul against Newcastle? I think if there is any time Leeds could come back and bounce back, Newcastle and Gameweek 20 is the fixture for them. If they don't really perform this, then it makes a case where you actually want to ditch those players. And Bamford, yeah, despite him being a season holder for at least till Gameweek 25, till I wildcard again. Werner to wreak havoc under Tuchel. I think yes, the play. If you ask me about Tuchel and Chelsea, I think the certain players will definitely do under good under Tuchel. Has to be Werner, one of them. It really suits the style of play Tuchel wants to play. The wing backs will definitely dwell as well. Chilwell and James, I'm looking forward to them. Coaches might get a lot of more game time. Mount and Havertz are two players I'm really confused about because they will be deployed in a similar role unless Tuchel changes his formation into a 4-2-2-2. So it depends on the formation at the moment, but I think both of them will get rotated very often and get decent amount of time as well. My defense is Mitchell, Dallas, Robertson, Bailey, Kufal. I think you definitely need to get in Stones or Cancelo. Uh, Possibly replace Dallas if you want, or Robertson. Whom to start, Adams or Suchek? Adams. I think if you haven't read the article by Big Man Bucker, he explicitly explains why that Antonio coming into side is taking up a lot of shots and touches inside the box. Uh, and Suchek is not taking a lot of those chances as well. So clearly, Antonio coming back into the side has affected his performance, and Antonio will continue to play for a really long time until he's injured. So I think that you possibly can bench Suchek. It could be a fixture where a deadlock is broken by a header because Crystal Palace tend to concede goals on set pieces at times. So it's a 50-50 call. Honestly, I mean the right choice is to bench Suchek, but Suchek has been scoring in those odd games. So on your call. But if I was in your place, I would bench Suchek. Wilson or Bamford, who to start? I would start Bamford for sure. I would definitely back the uh, Leeds boys in this game. I would Rafinha to Gundogan and Dyer to Stones. Salah to Sterling is not in. Everyone who has Salah, please hold on to him. I don't think Salah is a sell this week. Bruno or Bamford or Stones for captaincy. I would go Bruno. I would just take it safe. If you want to go Maverick, go Bamford. I think. Uh, if you have a Son, Bruno, everyone, you possibly go to a City defender, City midfielder, someone like a Gundogan. If you're taking a hit, definitely do play Gundogan. Otherwise, don't take a hit. Overall points already answer that. Manav, Zaha, Neto. I would play Zaha. I think although the Tuchel style of play does does break, it's easy to break his play on a counter-attacking football on counter-attacking football. So teams like Burnley or teams like Fulham at the moment or Wolves can actually score against Chelsea. But I think I would still play Zaha. There is a slight chance that his him coming back to the team would actually help Crystal Palace score a goal. I think, as Varun said, he's planning to play five at the back. I think I am also going four at the back, and I think going four or big at the back is a very good move at the moment. Teams have been defensively very good, and there is a lot more guarantee of getting points in those areas than in the forwards. I think Bamford, Adams haven't been at the best. Wilson hasn't been the best, so there's a lot of ambiguity there. With Mop is useless, so I don't think they are very consistent in getting you points. Otherwise, when you look at the defenders, there are two City defenders who are getting you clean sheet game week in and out. Manchester United have been very good. Cresswell or the West Ham boys have been great. Even Justin, for the matter. So there's a lot of points in the defense. So I think going four at the back, maybe 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3, is a very viable option at this point of the stage and this stage of the game. Captain picks of Sterling over Gundo. If I have both, I would actually captain Sterling over Gundogan for one because his ownership is very low. Secondly, I think the ceiling is always high for Sterling. Gaming 26 fixtures confirmed. No, they're not confirmed. I'll be releasing the fixtures, possible fixtures, tomorrow or tonight, depending on whenever you guys want it. So yeah, I think they're more or less confirmed, but not really confirmed. Start Neto or Holding. That's a tough one. I think Holding can get a clean sheet in this game. I don't see a very good attack on Southampton's part as well. In the FA Cup as well, they were not playing that well. So maybe start Holding over Neto. Kevin De Bruyne to Grealish is a decent choice, I think, especially because now that Aston Villa will have a couple of double game weeks coming up. So, fair enough choice. Also, Ben Crillins has said that Manchester City might have a double game week at 24, 26, 20, 23, 26, and 27 as well. So, might as well want two Man City defenders. And I also feel that Man City defenders, the combined ownership of Man City defenders will eventually reach 100% in this week or the next week. So, if you have one Manchester City defender and if they keep a clean sheet, it will still result in a red arrow for your team. Rafinha or Wilson for this week, I would go Rafinha. Captaining Sterling or Gundogan. I think if you want to go Maverick a bit, you want to go for the higher ceiling, go with Sterling. If you want to play safe, then I think it has to be Gundogan because he has the penalties. Start Suchek or Suchek. Is Kevin De Bruyne or Sterling a good move? Yes. Can you tell a few teams on who we should focus for the next three game weeks who have easy fixtures? I think when you look at the fixture ticker we put up, Everton have a decent run of fixtures. Leicester have two good game weeks after this one, and then Chelsea also have a couple of good games. So you can focus on those two teams. United's run is also decent. Apart from that, I think City is pretty much very clear that you have to focus on the City fixtures. When you look at the low price, I think I would focus on DCL picks like DCL, James Rodriguez, probably a Barnes or a Madison. These are the players which are not highly owned at the moment in the game, and they have decent fixtures up to 25. Maybe a Luke Shaw in defense, but apart from that, nothing. I don't see myself doubling up on the United attack before my wild card. How nailed is Cavani? I don't see him starting over Marshall game in and out. So that's about it. If Rashford is not playing, which I think he will not play, I did mention that he is fit and has swelling, but I'm not sure if he'll be able to manage full 90 minutes. Might come on as a sub, so there is a chance that Cavani starts this game, but I don't see him starting gaming in and out. Justin or Wood, who to start? Tough one. I would start Justin if I was in your place. I would take my chance on the Leicester clean sheet. Chilwell or Cresswell, go with Chilwell if you have him. If you're buying someone, then I think Cresswell is a safer option at the moment. I think Kovacic will still get time under Tuchel. Let's see how it goes. Zaha or Neto, I said Zaha. Pick one, Stones, DS, Cancel. I would go Cancel, higher ceiling. Should I remove Holding now or not? Depends on your team. If there's no dire need to remove any player, don't do that. Uh, I also have the same attack as your. Which two forwards should I start? I'm going to start Antonio and Bamford. I'm going to bench Adams. Stones or Cancelo, Saka or Bednarik, Saka. Kevin De Bruyne and Vardy out to Kane +1 for a -4. Yes, definitely do it. Should I get Martinez for a hit by not owning him? I lose rank almost most of the times. Yeah, fair enough. If you still don't have Martinez, you probably want to get him. But if you have some extra budget, you can actually also look at Pope. His fixtures are not that bad, and he's the highest scoring defender keeper at the moment. Chilwell or Cresswell, Chilwell if you have him. Salah to Sterling is worth it. I already did Rafinha to Gundogan and add to Stones. I wouldn't remove Salah. Who should I bench, Lowton or Suchek? That's a tough one, honestly. It depends on how you see the Aston versus Burnley game. I don't see a clean sheet there for Burnley personally. I would start Suchek and take a chance. Kufal or Lowton? I would play Kufal. Son, Kane, Salah, Bruno, captain. I would go either Kane or Bruno. Kane De Bruyne replacements, already talked about it. What to do with Rashford? If you have him, take your chances if you want to play him. Don't sell him because I don't see him missing out on the next game week. And he is in form. He is one guy who is definitely in form. So don't sell him at least. Salah for De Bruyne. Yes, if you don't have Salah, you probably want him. Despite of his lack of form, I think he might burst out anytime, and you want him, especially for the West Ham and Brighton fixtures. Which players should I start amongst Wilson, Bamford, Dallas, and Kufal? Kufal and Bamford. Should I bench Chilwell? Want to play three at the back? Already have Stones, Cancel, and Kufal. Uh, Likely to bench Chilwell. If you want to take a chance, you might also want to go four at the back, or maybe take a chance on Chilwell over Kufal. Wilson or Antonio to stay at the bench? I would bench Wilson. Foden or Bernardo Silva or Gundogan? My priority order of City attackers is Gundogan, Sterling, Foden, Bernardo Silva, and then Mahrez. I'm planning to start Antonio and Bamford. That's perfectly just like my team. I've played my wildcard, but do not bring in Kane, and I have no money in the bank and planning to bring in for the next game week. But you'll have to figure out how you're bringing him in. But I think Kane from game week 23 or 24 is much better. -8 to remove Kevin De Bruyne, Rashford, and Vardy also replacements. Don't remove Rashford. I think for a -4 Vardy and Kevin De Bruyne is fair enough. I would go either Martial or DCL for Vardy. If you don't have Antonio, maybe he is an option as well. And for Kevin De Bruyne, either Madison or Gundogan or Son if you don't own him. Cresswell, Kufal holding, Wilson play two to pick. Cresswell and I think holding. I don't want to double up on the West Ham defense. Stones or DS? DS. I think all Pep did mention that he wants Ake and Laporte to be fit as soon as possible because he wants to rotate his team and ensure that every player is fit. This rotation could be either on the other side where he brings plays Laporte in the Champions League and the FA Cup and EFL games and plays Stones and Diaz in the Premier League. But there is definite rotation going to happen in some of the games. I would go Diaz because I think he's the most nailed on defender in the City lineup. Why Burke? Because he is in my team. I'm stuck with him. He is in my team since game week 1, 2, or 3. I think there's no particular reason why I have him in my team. He was the cheapest playing midfielder at that moment of time. So yeah, I'm not bringing him in. I just want to remove him. I definitely will remove him next week. Yes, a bit of a early deadline scene today. Got work after this, so we'll just uh, answer most questions and then we'll upload it. Possibly, if there will be any update, we'll be posting it on Instagram. So make sure you follow us there on FPL tips underscore underscore. We'll be posting a lot of questions as well and the answer to those questions as well on the story. Gundogan or Sterling, who's on penalties? I think Gundogan is on penalties. Sterling might take the penalty only if Gundogan offers it to them. This is exactly what happened in the penalty in which the penalty Sterling missed. Kevin De Bruyne earned the penalty. He was supposed to take the penalty. Then he asked Gundogan to take the penalty, and then Gundogan, being a unselfish person, asked Sterling to take the penalty, and Sterling was also insisting on that. So Sterling will take the penalty only if Gundogan refuses to take the penalty. Otherwise, Gundogan is on set pieces and penalties. Stones or Diaz? Diaz. Dallas versus Robertson versus Watkins. I would start Robertson and Watkins. Why not Jesus? He's a good differential over Marshall, right? The problem is that Jesus is absolutely not in form. I watched him in the FA Cup as well. He's not clicking at the moment. He might score a goal, but he's definitely out of form when you compare to the other City assets. His numbers are very poor. So you don't want to bring in a player who's completely out of form, especially who's priced 9.3 or 4. I would avoid such a player. Fabianski or McCarthy in goal, I would go Fabianski. I'm holding Firmino. Should I keep him, replace him, or keep him? Replace him for sure. Chilwell, Watkins, Neto, or Cresswell for the bench in the seat. I would probably bench Neto. I play Chilwell, Watkins, and Cresswell. Sterling for Salah for a hit. Don't do it. I use don't do it. Who should I bench? Wilson or Antonio? Bench Wilson. Uh, Varun says my moves this game week: De Bruyne and Dallas out for Sun and Stones. I think Sun is a very decent replacement if you are very confused. Might not score this week. Might score, might not. I think, but it also gives you a very good captaincy option next week. Start Madison or Watkins. That's a tough one. Maybe Madison if you've brought him this week. Looks like a game where he could score. But a lot of people are talking about Madison versus Barnes. See, my state of Madison versus Barnes is this exactly. Barnes does have all of the stats in favor of him. Every particular stat that should have we should consider is favor of Barnes. But I looked at all of the highlights in the last 3 or 4 matches they've played together, be it the FA Cup, be it the Premier League, and Madison does pass the eye test. He's taking more shots, more clinical shots when you ask. So Barnes' finishing has been poor. So if you want to purely take it on eye test, I think Madison will is more likely to score because of his clinical finishing, and he does pass the eye test for me. Honestly, I did take a very long time to actually analyze those players, and I think Madison might just edge it over Barnes, despite Barnes having the numbers. Wilson or Kufal? Kufal. Start Madison or Watkins? Madison, Gundogan or Sterling? I answered that Gundogan is on penalties. Any midfielder under 6 million other than Gundogan? I think he is the best midfielder at the moment. Saka is another option, but I don't see him doing really well with the fixtures. Their XG doesn't drop that much. I mean, they have been overperforming their XG and number of goals only because of penalties. But I don't see them dropping their performance way too much. Perez might play in a in a false nine role, so it's going to be different to see how they set up and play. Kevin De Bruyne to Sterling at captain him. Yes, if you're doing that move, definitely captain Sterling. Start Dallas or Kufal. Kufal. Leonard McCarthy, 50-50. Start any one of them. I'm not sure how the game will play out. Maybe Leno, because I think Arsenal have been defensively more stable. Justin or Holding, who do I bench? Bench Holding. Justin does have a higher chance of even assisting or scoring a goal. So there's a ceiling higher there. What's the beneficial Shaw in defense or Bamford in attack? I think Bamford in attack has a more higher ceiling. Shaw is at max getting 6, maybe an assist or a bonus, 8 or 9 points. And if the clean sheet is swiped off, then 2. But Bamford has a ceiling of scoring a hat trick as well. So Bamford. Mares, Foden, or Bernardo Silva. Who should I go for? Foden. When to use wildcard depends on your team entirely. Depends on how much you want it, how many changes you want to make. If you want to make 5 to 6 changes, use it. Otherwise, save it and combine it with the bench boost tip in game week 25 and 26. Who are you captaining? I am captaining Bruno Fernandes. I'm not thinking it overthinking too much. I think I'll stick to the template and captain Bruno. May or may not pay off, but I think if I there's no standout captaincy other than Bruno for me in my team, and I think I'm going to stick to him. Dallas could be better than Kufal. Depends. Both I think will get a clean sheet. Uh, but if I had to play someone, I would play Kufal because I've seen West Ham in form and they're defensively decent at the moment. Gundogan or Foden in for Kevin De Bruyne. Gundogan. Will Bailey from Man United start? I think Lindelof, if it is the first preference over there. Mahrez or Bernardo Silva. That's a tough one. I mean, either or could start, and they play in the same wing and start for the same positions. It's a 50-50. Just take your pick, and I mean, you can't do much about it. Suchek against Palace or Wilson against Leeds. It's a tough one. I mean, you can take a chance on Suchek, I think. Should I start Amy Martinez or Edison? Start Dallas or Rafinha or Suchek? Rafinha. I think there is a goal scoring or assist chance there. Rudiger captain. Your call, mate. Suchek or Neto? 50-50. Might just play Suchek over Neto. Play Van Bissaka or Chilwell. Van Bissaka, I think there is a more clear cut, and the odds also favor Man United having a clean sheet against Sheffield. Start Martinez or Meslier. Martinez. Bamford captain. He is a differential captain option. So if you want to go Maverick, you can go Bamford. Start Martinez or McCarthy. Martinez always. Salah for De Bruyne. Yes, it is an option, Athara. Any league lineups news? Definitely not 4 hours before the deadline. So if there is anything, we'll post it on Instagram. Cancelo captain is your call. I don't see a very high ceiling, but if you don't have any captain option, you can go Cancelo as well. Your views on the changes in the 11 players in the 11? I think Rudiger might start over Zuma. Kovacic might get some game time, and either of Mount or Kai Havertz will start. Nothing apart from that. There will be a formation change, but apart from these players, I don't see a lot of change. Firmino and Rashford out for Martial and Man City midfielder thoughts. Definitely do it because Rashford might mostly not play this game week, and Firmino isn't in the best of the form. Grealish or Bamford? I'm all in for Kane plus Son this week. Uh, Bamford, I think, over Grealish this week. Who to start out of Robertson, Konsa, and Dallas? Maybe Dallas has a higher chance of a clean sheet, but then it's unlikely you bench a 7 million defender. So take your call. Best De Bruyne replacement, I think Son. If you don't have him. Captain Bruno or Son, I think I'm going to go Bruno. But the Liverpool fixture is not that easy. The defensive numbers are still fine. The only problem I have when I'm removing Robertson from my team is that the next two fixtures are West Ham and Brighton. I can clearly see them getting clean sheets there. So if in case a situation happens where Reece James is dropped from the team and he's not playing, I can make a very easy switch from Reece James to Matip. 4-2-2-2. Yes, that's where what I think will also be a lineup this week. Will Callum Wilson start Callum Wilson or Dallas? It depends how you rate the Newcastle attack. Clearly depends on that. If you think Newcastle will score, start Callum Wilson. Otherwise, Dallas. Bring in Kane for Salah. I don't see it's a very like to like swap. I would keep Salah. Will Cancelo start every match or play safe with Stones? Play safe with Stones if you're in doubt. He would not start every match. He would eventually get benched. Which Man City players do you think will play midfield and forward? I think it could be a weird formation where Zinchenko starts. Kyle Walker has trained with the team today, so I'm not sure if Kyle Walker is playing. Then Cancel on the right. Gundogan, Bernardo in midfield alongside Mahrez and Sterling up top. Could be a lineup like that. Grealish or Pogba? At the moment, I would still go with Grealish. Dhruv, I wouldn't make any changes. Looks decent. Foden, I'm not sure about, but apart from that, it's a decent team. Maybe Suchek or Rafina to someone like a Barnes or Madison. Also, guys, we have about 18 or 90 people or watching the stream. If you haven't liked the stream, hit the like button, guys. James is getting dropped. Could be rumors. I'm not making my changes yet. If James is getting dropped and the rumors are true, then might as well remove James for Cancelo or Stones. Holding 4-4-2 or Wilson 3-4-3. Holding, I think. Kane or Bamford. Kane. Start Kane at least. Start Grealish or Watkins. Grealish. I feel Grealish is dwelling better with El Ghazi getting dropped. Grealish or Gundogan for Kevin De Bruyne. Gundogan. Uh, Captain Sterling pay off. Can Captain Sterling pay off this week? Uh, Anything can happen in the City match. I'm not really sure how City will attack and how much they will create without Kevin De Bruyne. That's the only reason I've not got Gundogan in my team. My team is Martinez, McCarthy, Minks, Konsa, Struch, Cresswell, Diaz, Kevin De Bruyne, Foden, Kane, Wilson. What to do for -4 other than Kevin De Bruyne for Salah? I think that's fair enough. If you also have Bruno, so there's no need to make another switch. I think Kevin De Bruyne out Salah is the very obvious move. I have Bamford, Antonio, and Silva in forward. -4 for DC. Don't do a -4. I think Bamford and Antonio is fine. Unless you don't have a playing fourth defender or fifth midfielder. How much do you think Odegaard will be? I think he'll be about 5 million. That's what my estimate is. 5 million. Bring Madison in for a -4 and play instead of Wilson. No, I won't do that. Not this week. Next week, yes. Not this week. Holding or starter Wilson. I think I would start holding. Kevin De Bruyne to Gundogan spend the leftover cash. Yes, spend the leftover cash on someone. Nehal says Justin Suchek or Adams want to bench this week. I might just bench Suchek over Adams. Start Suchek or holding 50-50. Maybe holding. Cavani or Bamford? Bamford. Thoughts on getting Bissouma for Emil Smith Rowe and ESR will start with Odegaard coming on. ESR might get dropped. That is a very good point to put up. Yes, there's a chance that he's getting dropped with Odegaard. We cannot be sure about it. Wouldn't waste my transfer on a 4.4 million midfielder. Bardi and Robertson out for Antonio and someone for a -4. Cancelo is the obvious someone there. Maybe not Antonio and maybe DCL over Antonio. -4 hit for Zuma to DS. Yes, start Madison's or Barnes. Really can't decide. If you have both, you just have to take a hunch. If you ask me about my hunch, I think Madison could be the guy. Gundogan as a captain pick. The only problem with Gundogan is his ceiling isn't that high. He is very highly reliant on a very odd chance and penalties. I'm not sure if I'll ever captain him, even if I get him. Start Bamford or Madison. Start both if you can. Start Neto or Saka. Saka. McCarthy or Mendy to start this week. 50-50. Mendy maybe. You can start McCarthy as well if you see a 0-0 draw there. Salah for Kevin De Bruyne. Yes, Antonio captain pick can be decent. I mean, Crystal Palace haven't been the best defense, but I don't see them conceding more than a goal or two. I wouldn't captain Antonio. Saka or ESR. Saka. Start Wilson or Suchek. 50-50 call. Martinez, Trent, Antonio, Bench, Meslier, Kevin De Bruyne, Pereira, Brewster. Would you take a hit to for Kevin De Bruyne or bring in Gundogan? I would take a hit and possibly bench Suchek in that team or Dallas. Start Grealish or Bamford, both if you can. Otherwise, Bamford. Mid Salah, Son, Suchek, Kevin De Bruyne, Bruno. Kevin De Bruyne to Gundogan or Grealish. Not sure about Gundogan, as you said, low ceiling. Yes, there's a low ceiling, but he's consistently getting 6-7 points. That's exactly what Grealish is doing. If you ask me, go Grealish. That's a safer move, and you still can get Gundogan next week as well for Suchek. With that midfield. It also gives you a very good high insight that is Gundogan the best midfielder after Kevin De Bruyne is out. If not, you have the money to get in someone like a Foden, or you can fund Foden or maybe a Bernardo Silva. So I think Grealish is the better move this week. Antonio for a -4 for Vardy can play 4-4-2 with Adams even without a transfer. Don't take a hit if you can play put up a strong lineup. Uh, Kevin De Bruyne, Son, and Ealing for Justin for a hit. Fair enough, I think. Should I Should I play five defenders, three midfielders, and Bamford and Antonio, or take a -8 for Kevin De Bruyne, Suchek, and Madison? No, don't take a -8. Play five defenders instead. If they're five playing defenders. Opinion on having Mane and his replacements. If you have Mane and don't have Salah, keep Mane. It's not a bad move, but if possible, replace him to someone like a Son soon because maybe Bruno if you don't have him. I don't see Mane in form at all at the moment. Cancel and Stones and then Smith Rowe to Saka. The Smith Rowe to Saka move is unnecessary this week. If you're on wildcard, yes. Otherwise, it's unnecessary. Sell Wilson for a hit. Not sure if you want to or keep and hope for a goal. I don't see a goal, but don't. There's no need to take a hit because the other attackers might not score as well. Do you think Bernardo Silva or Mahrez will play? I think Mahrez might start this one. How can you predict things? I'm not predicting things. I'm just telling you on the basis of my knowledge and what I think and how the game could be playing out. Uh, it's purely based on numbers and how I think the game will be played out. Ken De Bruyne to Sterling, Vardy to Ings. Fair enough move. Nothing to argue about Ings. The fixtures are a bit off, and that's the problem with Ings and Adams as well. Apart from that, it's a fair enough move. James or Dallas, who to pick? I think Dallas is the safer pick at the moment. Son Bruno Sterling, Grealish Kane, captain who? Bruno or Sterling, in my opinion. Grealish or Salah for Kevin De Bruyne? Salah. Grealish will take more chances with Barkley back. Yes, I think his numbers will rise again. Suchek, Grealish, Bruno, Gundogan, ESR, who to start? I think Suchek, Grealish, Bruno, and Gundogan. Start Wilson or Neto? Maybe Wilson. 50-50 call, honestly, but Wilson maybe. Start Wilson or Mane? Mane. Obviously, you don't bench your expensive guys. I mean, there is a reason why they priced 11.5 or 11 million. So it's not like they will not score goals. They even when they're out of form, they still have a couple of chances where they can capitalize. So definitely don't bench them. Bamford or Madison as a good captain choice. I would go Bamford. Grealish for Salah. I've answered that moment. Salah, in my opinion. Watkins or Bamford to start. Bamford. Bamford for captain only if you want to go Maverick. I think he has a ceiling and this could be the game. If he doesn't score in this game, I don't see him scoring in the next couple as well. Do you think Marshall will start in the next three? I think Marshall will start tonight. Tonight, I mean, by tonight, I mean this game week, but apart from that, I can't be sure with the injuries and all of that. Bamford or Madison answered that Bamford is the better one. Wilson or Kufal this week? I would go Kufal. I would stick with Kufal. Is Cam Newton to Sterling and Adams to DCL a good move? I think it's a brilliant move, especially getting in DCL at the moment. DNA for Cresswell isn't the necessary move. I mean, watch how they play tonight against Leicester and then may possibly do that move. When West Ham play Liverpool and then Everton have an easier fixture. Should I play Dyer or Suchek? Dyer. No, Suchek actually. Dyer has a tough fixture. Couldn't get a clean sheet there. And also, I don't think his goal threat is as much as that. Suchek. Gundogan, Foden, or Sterling for Kevin De Bruyne, best captain besides Bruno. I think Sterling, if you have the options, I also see Sterling as a good captain. Do you think Rashford will play? Honestly, I don't see him playing. He might come on as a sub, in my opinion. Bench Son, Chilwell, Van Bissaka, Bamford. Bench none of them. Uh, Robertson, Trent, Dallas. Good defensive trio. I have James and Mitchell on the bench. Decent in my opinion. Not the if you have Martinez as a keeper, I would play James over Target. You think Zuma will get back his shot and not under Tuchel? Maybe not. Do you think Man City assets are good considering Allardyce will park the bus? Uh, it depends on how they park the bus. They were decent against Wolves as well, but Wolves did score two against them. With the quality Man City have, they can definitely beat a side like West Brom. My rank, I think, was finished just under 300k this week, with a rise about what, not much, 80 or 80 or 100k rise. So fair enough. I have all my chips intact. Bench Rashford, Wilson, and start with five defenders. I would not bench Rashford. I'm not sure about benching Rashford. I mean, I think he won't start. But if you're playing someone like or Diaz or maybe Mitchell or Target, especially you have Martinez, you might just take a punt on Rashford. As per you, which games will have a high score this week? I think The games between Newcastle Leeds will be a high scoring one. West Brom Man City, especially with a defensive point of view, will have a high scoring result. Chelsea versus Wolves would be a very interesting game to watch. I am playing a defender in there, and it will be very interesting to watch how Chelsea line up and how they attack. I think Tuchel is flying at 3 p.m. to London, and he'll be straight going to the training ground. Let's see how what happens and how it goes. Brighton Fulham could be an exciting one as well. Apart from that, United Sheffield is the only high scoring game I expect. Allardyce doesn't need a bus. Man City need to park a cruise ship to stop them. Yes. Whom to pick between Wilson or Dallas? Dallas, I think. The press conferences will be there about in what for 30-45 minutes. Some press conferences are already going on, so, like the Everton one, the Fulham one. So there's nothing, no update about them. So nothing major. I think Dean is fit. Only Delph is injured and out. Captain or Cancelo, low ceiling but a decent captaincy option if you don't have any other options. Wilson or Rashford? Wilson at least get 2 points out of the game. If Rashford starts, although I think he'll be devastating, so it's your call. I mean, totally your call. Possibly, if some Ole does mention that Rashford will not be playing or might not make it to the game, that gives you a clear indication that he might get benched. Sterling or Kevin De Bruyne taking a hit, fair move. What will you do with Kevin De Bruyne? I will get in Sun. I think I'll just get in Sun right now. Yeah, this is what I'm doing. Yes, Dine is back. And that is why I'm emphasizing on DCL because now Dine is back, Richarlison is back, James Rodriguez is fit. I think they have a proper Everton lineup with them. Play Wood or upgrade him to DCL for a hit. Play Wood this week. There's no need to take a hit this week. DCL does have a tough fixture. Cavani might not start. So, not for a hit. Keep Vardy or wait until 7 Feb. I wouldn't keep Vardy. Sell him. There are better options. 10 million on the bench makes no sense. And it's not like he's fine. I mean, his operation is done. He's fine. It will take time to recover. Might not play for 2 weeks, maybe 1 week, but still, I think moving on to better options is a good opportunity to do this. Justin against Everton or Neto against Chelsea. 50-50, honestly. If you see Everton scoring, play Neto. Should I get Cancelo or Stones if you want to play safe Stones? If you don't mind him Cancelo getting benched once in a while, go Cancelo. Who should I start, Son or Rodrigo? Son. Bamford captain, yes, I've explained. If you want to go Maverick or differential, Bamford is the choice. If you have to bench one, Van Bissaka or Chilwell, Chilwell this week. James Rodriguez in for a differential, not this week. For the next week, yes, I think the fixtures are really good. If you look at the Everton fixtures, I don't have any Everton player up here. Possibly will remove someone like an Adams or Bamford. And up to 25, when you look at the fixtures, Leicester is a decent home fixture. They have Newcastle at home, Leeds away, United away, and Fulham at home. These are the fixtures until 25, and 25 you're possibly going to wildcard. So I think DCL or James Rodriguez makes totally sense, or even Digne as a punt. Wouldn't go Digne because he's 6 million and a defender. I think DCL could be a good option. If he finds form against Leicester, he's definitely in for me in game week 21. Will there be any updates on Rashford? There will be a specific update on what Ole thinks about Rashford or what he says about Rashford. Apart from that, nothing. Kane or Son, I think has the better stats. So Son, higher ownership, better stats, safe pick. Play two out of Bowen, Watkins, and Wilson. Watkins and Bowen. Werner isn't an option unless he is definitely very much out of form. The penalty against Luton was also horrible because he's off form. If he was in form, that would have been a goal. So don't go there. Bench Foden, he might get benched today. If you have bought in Foden for the West Brom game, you possibly want to play him. He will obviously be a bench and rotation risk every game. Is there any point to go from Cancelo to Stones without a wild card? No, there's no point. Getting DCL in next gaming for Vardy. Pretty much my plan as well if I have funds. Don't jump on the Chelsea players as of now. Wait and see how they perform. Who shall I start, Kufal or Justin? Kufal has a higher chance of getting clean sheet. Would to Marshall for a hit? I would do that, especially for the Sheffield United game. Saka, Suchek, Cresswell, and Kufal. Which do I bench? Saka and Suchek. I think Cresswell and Kufal. Oh, that gives you two West Ham defenders. Possibly play Saka and Cresswell and bench Kofal and Suchek. Start Suchek, Rafinha. Rafinha, keep Zuma or Sell for a hit. If you can bench him this week, bench him. We'll give you an idea if he'll be starting in the upcoming games. Um, Otherwise, and next week you can sell him. If you have a bench, yes, bench him. Robertson to DS for a -4. Possibly looks like the move for me as well. Yes, we'll make it FPL.tips. Hush, thank you. Sun to Sterling for a hit, enough funds available. Only if you want a captain Sterling. Otherwise, I don't see the move because Sun have a very easy fixture next week. Zaha or Wilson, who to pick? Zaha, in my opinion. Want to replace Kevin De Bruyne and Wilson? Got Bruno, Salah, Saka, Bamford, and Antonio. Who should I get? Two midfielder or one midfielder and one forward? I think one midfielder, one forward is the way. Antonio says, Dion, is it worth taking -8 for Kevin De Bruyne and Suchek out? -8 is too much if you have a decent bench. I think -4 is fine. -8 is too much. How is three-man defense of Van Bissaka, Cancelo, and Diaz for this week? It looks really sad. A lot of people message me whether they should go triple Man City defense. Yes, there is an upside there, and you can definitely get three clean sheets for three defenders in the next three games. But as soon as City have a double game week 23, 27, 26, you will want that attacker, and those will be someone like Sterling or maybe Ford and Bernardo Silva Mares. Those are expensive players. You cannot transfer them directly, so you will have to take possibly two. You will have to waste two transfers there to remove one City defender and then buy an attacker. Hence, don't go triple up on City. I think a double is fair enough and fine. I think DCL at the moment could be, and DCL and Antonio are the strikers to go, and Marshall as well, apart from Bamford. Antonio, looking at the budget, Antonio. What team do you support? I support Chelsea. When will Tuchel be announced? I think tonight. Should be announced in a while. Thoughts on Gundogan? I've explained. I think he's decent. He is slightly overperforming due to his penalties, but I think it's fair enough. He will be getting those points in the coming games as well. Which three to start from Cresswell, Justin Dallas, Stones? Stones for sure, Cresswell for sure. I think Justin Dallas 50-50. Start anyone shouldn't be a problem. Kufal, Suchek, Saka. Who one should I bench? Who should I bench? That's a tough one. I mean, Saka or Suchek, any one of them. Start Dine or Target? Dine. And will Tuchel have a press conference? No, I don't think so. Not before the deadline, I think. Holding or Justin home to bench? Justin, in my opinion, holding might get a clean sheet. I think Anubhav, your defense is perfectly fine for this week. Who's your preferred attacker for City double game weeks? I think I will be sticking to Gundogan for the double game weeks. I don't see Sterling unless I see him in form. I won't go there because he's expensive and doesn't offer and he's offering almost the similar stats as Gundogan. So you definitely want to save the money there. Tottenham will have an easy double game week, so we'll double up on Kane and Son. It also because ultimately you want to get players from almost all teams. So Gundogan offers a very good value at 5.6. He'll probably be 5.8 by then, 5.8 or 6. So you get a City attacker at 6. You get two Spurs attackers also for the double game for which who have a easy fixture. So I think Gundogan will be the route to that. Gundogan or triple City defense. I would go Gundogan plus double City defense. Salah or Bruno for a hit. For a hit, I'm not sure if you can go Canterbury to Bruno do that. Salah to Bruno only if you want to captain Bruno. Antonio or DCL at the moment, in my opinion. Will you be posting the Rashford update before the deadline? Yes, I'll be posting any update that I have before the deadline. Uh, what to do with Werner? Play him if you have him. Would El Ghazi get full 90 minutes this week according to you? No, I don't see. I think there will be rotation as usual. He's definitely not getting full 90 minutes. I have Madison and Barnes who to bench. Should I play both? Uh, Not sure if you want to play both or not. If you want to bench someone, I would take a chance on Madison this week. Should I buy Justin and Watkins soon? Not Watkins if Villa don't have a double game week. In a mid of Sun, Salah, Bruno, play Suchek slash Rafina in the fourth mid. I would play Rafina. David De or Meslier, David, Antonio or Bowen for captaincy. Antonio. Best striker except Bamford. Antonio in the budget price bracket slightly above that is DCL. If you want to go more above that and go expensive, go Marshall. Rashford or Sterling for De Bruyne replacements. Rashford is might not play the full match or might not start. So Sterling becomes an obvious choice there. Will Vardy be back for the next game week? Not next game week, probably game week 22. Rashford or Bruno or to Bruno for -4. Definitely do that. Okay, I think we're still out of questions. So, guys, do one thing. Everyone who wants to get certain questions or topics answered, mention them in the comment section, not in the chat, in the comment section on the live stream. I will pick those questions and post it on Instagram and answer them if I get certain time. If I get certain time. Before the deadline, obviously, but if I get time, I'll try to answer them. Put it in the comment section. David or Meslier? David, Kane or DCL? Start Kane this week. Next week, probably DCL. Justin Kufal holding Mitchell. Need to take two Kufal and holding. Defense target Ailing, Mitchell, Stones, Cancelo. -4 to replace Ailing for a fullback. If yes, replace with whom? Go for Luke Shaw, I think. Where do you see Chelsea in the end of the season? I see them in the top six, possibly Europa. Nothing up. Because if you see, we're just 5 points off the top four. So it's not, I don't see a title challenge, obviously. But I see that top four or top six, maybe a Europa position is still in place. Nevin, I've already answered David Dea over Meslier. Fabianski to Martinez next week, yes, if possible. Would El Ghazi play? He might start because Barkley just came off an injury and played about what 70, 80 or 90 minutes. So I think El Ghazi could play, but Barkley will be the first choice in the team. That's pretty sure. Dion, the deadline stream is 3 hours before the deadline because I'll not be available on the deadline around that time. So I thought let's just do a quick stream before the deadline, which will answer possible questions you guys have. Play one between Target and Dine. Dine. Which two should I bench? Dallas, Adams, Suchek. I would bench Adams and Suchek possibly. How to support our channel? Like your content is genuine. Just subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on the stream, and that's it. If anyone of you guys actually want to support us financially as well, there's an Instamojo link in the description. There's no pressure. If you guys want to do it, you can. If you don't want to do it, just hit the like button, and that should be it. DCL, Richarlison, Watkins, Marshall, Cavani for Vardy. Which one? I would go DCL or Marshall, honestly. Apart from that, I would go nowhere. Should I replace Mane with Son? Yes, if you can. Suchek, Smith Rowe, Justin, who to start? Justin. Double city defense, definitely in my opinion, if you can. Keep Grealish, yes. Fabianski or Martinez? Martinez. When to play wildcard? Try to couple up with, if you have your bench boost still intact, wildcard in 25 and bench boost in 26. That is a great strategy to opt. Salah out? No, I think Salah is still in my team. I think I want to stick to Salah. I support Chelsea. What to do with Werner? Start him or Suchek? Start Werner over Suchek. Dion, Rafinha to Sun for a -4. Not sure for a -4. If it's not required, don't do it because Rafinha has a decent fixture, to be honest. Uh, Captain suggestions on the left, I think those are the best. If you don't want to go differential, go Bamford. Apart from that, I think not sure if you want to go anywhere else. Maybe Cancelo, but the ceiling is low. Why Bruno is number three? Sorry, I missed the earlier part. Bruno is number three because I think Pogba playing is affecting. Also, that Bruno is slightly off form. So I think a Bruno Hall will be highly dependent on if Bruno gets a penalty or not this week. Uh, I think Sterling has the high ceiling, and Martial has the record against Sheffield as well. It could be a Martial week. Bruno, I have seen him slightly get off form, and his numbers have dropped slightly with Pogba playing in the side. And there's no way Pogba is getting dropped. So yeah, I think Bruno dwells the most when he has two centered defensive midfielders playing behind him in a pivot role. Antonio or Bowen, captain Antonio. Saka or Grealish? Grealish. Should I remove Mane? It depends on your team. If you want to remove Mane, go to a other premium midfielder. You can. I have Kufal, Suchek, Antonio taking a hit to bring in Gundogan. Who to bench? Suchek or Dallas? Suchek. Neto out for Barnes, Madison. If you want to go by numbers, Barnes. If you want to go by eye test, which I have done, I think Madison is better. Who do you bench? Suchek, ESR, James, or Kufar? I would bench ESR. I still have triple captain. When should I use it for best? Use it in a smaller double game week or double game week 26 on Tottenham or Salah. Tottenham asset or Salah. Cancelo has a lower ceiling because at max he could get about 8 points unless and until he goes for gives an assist or a goal. But That's not very often. I mean, you when you count the ceiling, you're very sure that it depends on a very regular basis where a player can score decent. I mean, regular points. Uh, I see him scoring 8 points with the bonus, unless and until he scores a banger like Stones with 21 points. No one can predict that. So when you calculate the ceiling, you don't predict such things. You predict a very obvious result for a player. Sterling can definitely score 2 goals in such a fixture. Hence, the ceiling is high for him. Saka or Suchek 50-50. Martinez or Mendy? Martinez. Thoughts on Foden? Will he start? I don't see him starting game week in and out. Not even this week. I don't see him starting this week as well. Let's see how it goes for Chelsea, Ayush. I'm not really expecting a lot. Fernandes or Gundogan? Fernandes for captaincy. Sell Kyle Walker Peter. If you have a bench him because we don't know the extent of the injury. If possible, go for Luke Shaw or someone like a Stones. Who would you bench? Suchek, James, or Kufal? Suchek. How many games do you watch a week? Probably as many as I can. Pogba played twice, Liverpool twice. He might get a rest this week. He might, I mean, but he's not the player who's doing a lot of running and a lot of the dirty work. I mean, yes, he's due a rest, and that would be absolutely great if he gets a rest against Sheffield United. Thoughts on Foden? Will he start? I don't see him starting honestly. Even if he starts this week, then he's definitely. I don't expect him to start the next one. Uh, he's the kind of player whose stats are better than Gundogan and Sterling, but the rotation risk is so high that you don't want to go there. Ailing to Cresswell, Kufal, James rather than Shaw. Cresswell, I think he's the better one. Who would you bench, James or Kufal? I'm not sure I have the same situation. I might just bench James because Wolves could be damaging on the counter, but yeah, I think Kufal could have a clean sheet here. Thanks, Pranav. Who's your captain? Bruno. I think I'll set my team, make a transfer, and then set my team. Kufal first on your bench. Okay, so we'll wrap up the stream with my team. I'll be making a late transfer on either Robertson or James, depending on how I see Chelsea lining up. If there's any news, we'll let you guys know either on the community post or on Instagram story. At the moment, this is how my team is lining up. I have Martinez in goal, Kufal, Robertson, Diaz, and James in defense. Grealish, Bruno, Son, Salah, Bamford, and Antonio. I'll be captaining Bruno Fernandes. There's no change in that. Play Rafinha or Kufal? Rafinha. Fernandes or Gundogan? Fernandes. I have Kufal plus Cresswell and Antonio. Would it be okay if I swap Kufal for target? Go for target only if you don't have Martinez. Uh, whom should I play? Whom all to play? Martinez, go Diaz, Justin, Minks, not Justin, Diaz, Minks, Cresswell. I think Sterling, Fernandez, Grealish, Foden, DCL, Bamford, and Kane. Why Sterling over Fernandez? I think the ceiling is higher for Sterling with Pogba playing in the team. I scored 104 without any chips last week. Any news on Rush? Nothing as of now. I think it will be. I think the Wolves press conference is going on at the moment. The Sheffield United press conference just got over. Probably about 7:15, 7:20 we'll get the news. Play Kufar or Mitchell Kufal. Uh, Traore for Rafinha. I would play Rafinha. Son or Kane? Son. Bring in a Villa defender midfielder this week. Midfielder. Any differential captain pick? Bamford. Will James Justin play? Yes, I think he will play. Best wing backs under 4.7 other than Kofal. Shaw could be one. Other than that, Lowton is a decent option. But no fullbacks at that price, to be honest. Zuma or Bednarek? Bednarek. Not sure if Zuma will be starting. Worth swapping Suchek for Burton Traore this week for -4. Not sure if a -4 is worth it. Sun plus Kane all in, not against Liverpool. Have Pope, who's the best alternative for him? Martinez, if you want to, but I think Pope is decent enough. Don't replace him. Target is a good pick at 4.7. Yes, he's a decent pick in my opinion. He's doing good, but I'm not sure if you want to double up with Martinez and Target. That's the only problem when it comes to Aston Villa. I mean, yes, they've kept clean sheets, but do you want to double up on an Aston Villa defense? And in case you do, will you be playing Target each game? I think Luke Shaw at 4.8 offers much better value with the fixtures United have. Who do you think is most likely to get return this week, Chilwell, Net, or Cresswell? Can't really predict that. I would hope Chill will get something. Start Suchek or holding. What is the Star Sports FPL thing? This is an Indian FPL Cup that is starting this week. So the top about 2,50,000 players in India will be qualifying for that cup. Martinez or Davida? Davida. Overall rank is about just under 300k. Last minute thoughts on the game week. I will be posting it in rather. I let's just get it to the last minute. I haven't have a look on all stats. I will be again regressing on the stats and let's see how it goes. Okay, but my transfer would be either Robertson to Cancelo, as I said, or James to Cancelo. But my bench will definitely be Adams, Johnson, and Burke. There's no change on my bench. I will not be playing Adams. I'll keep him first on my bench in case James doesn't play or Robertson or someone doesn't play. I think Adams will fill in. Kufal or Dallas? Kufal, in my opinion. What do you think about Captain Cancelo? Yes, there's a higher chance of clean sheet. Could get a return as well. It's but the probability of him getting a return is slightly low. I feel he's like the Lamptey of the riches, as Zofa said on the podcast, and not sure if I see him getting attacking returns very often. Smith Rowe might get dropped and Odegaard starts. Not this week. Odegaard might not play this week, so Smith Rowe is safe. But in the future, yes. I think you should remove Robertson for Cancelo. That's what I've planned as well. But in case I get news that James is getting dropped, then I will obviously have to remove James. My initial plan is Robertson to Cancelo because it allows me ample of funds to go Burke to Barnes and Adams to DCL, which are the two moves I want to do. Nothing about Odegaard because I really think that when a player comes to Premier League, it's a very different playground. And unless and until you see a player perform in the Premier League, I'm not sure if I want to comment on it. Unless they're world class players like Ronaldo or Messi or Hazard, those players will definitely perform irrespective of the league. But certain players need time to adapt to a league, and I think Premier League is a very tough league to adapt. I don't see Stones getting benched this week. Sterling and Madison for Kevin De Bruyne, Rashford, yes. Uh, yes, Star Sports Cup is starting from Gameweek 20. I'm not really focusing on Star Sports Cup. Uh, First thing, because I'm taking a -4, I don't really have hopes of qualifying as well. If I wanted to focus, if you're really into the cup and want to focus on the cup, don't take a minus for it. That will just help you a lot. Sami, choose the likes of Son, Bruno, at least Barnes or Grealish or Madison, at least one of them. Get Gundogan, get Antonio up top, maybe even Kane or DCL. And in defense, get the double city defense. Get a Kufal or a Shaw and get Martinez in goal. That's probably a wildcard lineup for you. I don't see Diaz getting benched. Thoughts on Chelsea's new manager? Discussed it earlier in the team. Sterling and Smith Rowe, or Carroll and Rashford, and Gundogan and Watkins. I think Gundogan and Watkins are the best ones. Salah or Kevin De Bruyne? Salah. Yes, the Star Sports Cup will obviously the winner will get something, but apart from that, nothing. And there's a very low possibility that you end up winning the cup. I mean, if you look at any individual winning the cup, there is a very low possibility. I don't really focus on the cup. Doing Kevin De Bruyne to Son and want Gundogan, who should I remove? Suchek or Lookman? Suchek, in my opinion. Antonio or Diaz, one free transfer? Diaz. Start Rafinha or Suchek? Rafinha. On that note, let's wrap up the stream. I think we've covered almost every topic possible uh, for this week. There are certain topics still to be covered. We'll be putting it on Instagram. Remember, if you want to get some question answered, put it in the comment section because I won't be able to see the live chat again. Put it in the comment section and we'll pick up some questions if I get time and post it on Instagram. I did Robertson to Stones and have Grealish to Barnes. I have 3 million in the bank. I have Bamford, Adams, DCL. Should I upgrade? No. Stick to your lineup. Don't take another hit. And that should be it. Best of luck, guys, for Game Week 20. Kevin De Bruyne to Sun is a very obvious move. If you, that's what I did as well. So if you don't have Sun, go for it. If you haven't liked the stream already, do hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Uh, Aleph, don't use a triple captain. That is it. That is it from my side. This is FPL signing off. Cheers.